Welcome to the latest Goal to Go session brought to you by the Lawrence University Vikings Gridiron Club. Thanks for joining us for yet another in our Goal to Go sessions. Today we have Lawrence Vikings wideout number 14 from Lakeview, New York, Alex Lippert. Alex, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Alex, let's just kind of a quick review on 2023 for us, academic year and fall. Says here, as we all know, 2023 Midwest Conference Newcomer of the Year, 2023 All Midwest Conference Second Team, and 2024 Academic All Midwest Conference. Congratulations on all three of those, Alex.
Thank you so much. I
No
appreciate it.
worries. Accomplished player, glad to have you with us. Looking forward to finding out a little bit more about you, Alex. First of all, Alex, we know that you were last year with us for the first year having transferred. And I'm curious to know about your journey from what I see here in your bio as a high school linebacker in a town outside of Buffalo, New York, to wide receiver at Lawrence. How does that happen? What's that journey?
All right, I'll take you a little bit through it. So, my high school, I'm going to call it similar to Lawrence, actually. We were a smaller team. We needed a lot of players to, just get the job done on every side of the ball. In my high school, we had a wing T offense, triple option. So I played some running back, some wide out. But I also played outside linebacker as well as punter and kicker. So I did whatever I had to do for my team. And shockingly, I actually got heavily recruited out of high school for linebacker because I did pretty well at it. But it really wasn't my true passion. I always wanted to play receiver. I love scoring. I love offense. I love catching the ball. So I was like, that's what I want to stick with. But that's how I got to play defense, was with high school, just by doing what I had to do for my team. Um, Transitioning out of high school, I went to Mercyhurst University in Erie, Pennsylvania for about 2.5, 3 years. I just call it that because of COVID. I graduated in 2020, so we didn't have football for that year. So we really started in 2021 the next year. But I actually ended up playing fullback there my first year. I came in as a wideout, but we did a bunch of drills and stuff. And my coach was like, "Hey, let's put some weight on you. Let's see what you can do." So I tell everyone this story, a lot of the freshmen, about how like my journey was to where I am today. But I was pretty much 250 pounds 3 years ago, playing fullback in the backfield for my offense. Um, I did what I was asked to do, and just wanted to gain my opportunity to go play. So I did what I had to do. Um, the year after that, our coach left, so we actually ended up going back to a spread no huddle offense, and they got rid of the fullback job. So I was out of a job, and I'm like, oh boy, I
Okay.
need to get back to what I want to do. So over the course of that whole year, I dropped all that weight off. I went back to receiver and wanted to do what I wanted to do. And unfortunately, I didn't get the opportunity I wanted. I didn't see the field at my old school. I worked so hard. I did everything I could. Um, just did my part. But unfortunately, it didn't work out. And my dreams to play college football. So at the end of the 2023 season, I entered the transfer portal, or the 2022 season, entered the transfer portal. And I got a couple calls. And that's the scary thing about the transfer portal is you don't know if you're going to get a call
Mhm.
or find a new home. It's scary going in there, but it's a risk you're willing to take to achieve what you want to achieve. So um, ended up getting a call from Coach Aker, and I talked to him for pretty much, I'd say, a good portion of the summer, all of May into June. This is when I made my commitment in June. But you know what? He promised me an opportunity to compete and to earn my spot, and I came in that same fall, and here we are today. He gave me the opportunity and the chance to live out my dream of playing college football.
Well, you've kind of read my mind about the next question that I had to ask you, Alex, which was what was it that sealed the deal for you as far as making the switch to Lawrence? I think you may have answered a lot of that, but was there anything more to that decision-making process as far as evaluating the options you had? As was there anything more to it to lead you to decide Lawrence is the place I think I'll take my talent?
So when I visited here, um, me and my parents flew up here and we saw the city of Appleton, and it was amazing because it looked kind of just like my hometown. So
Really?
a lot of stuff to do. It
Okay.
looked familiar. So I was like, you know what, I like this. It's kind of like it's going to be like a home away from home, so it's going to be easy to adjust. So I took that into account for sure because I'm like, all right, there's stuff to do off campus. There's another life to live outside of football and school, on the weekends and whenever you have some free time. So that was a huge part of it was location. Everyone was super friendly. I hung out with Ben Blumenthal, our kicker, Logan Olson. He's gone now, but I hung out with him when he was still here.
Hmm.
I met a lot of guys at the time, um, and they were just super nice and respectful. And I'm like, this actually seems like a really great group of guys to surround myself with. And when I met with all the coaches and especially Coach Aker,
Hmm.
he walked me through the process of what it's going to look like and where I'm going to fit in and what I can do. And he promised me the opportunity to compete, and I was like, that's all I needed was just an opportunity. So
Well, in some respects, you were talking before about kind of having to do everything back in high school. Looking back at last year, there was a little bit of that same do everything aspect of your game as to when you were off the field. And talking with Ben Blumenthal, that raises a question looking at something in your bio, and I think something you said earlier. You had punted for your team in high school, and you have some record with respect to your punting as well.
I
So
did.
if that's true, have the two of you ever compared notes? And if Ben were ever to go down, God forbid, would you be the guy that would punt in that situation? Probably.
Honestly, we didn't even talk about the backup punter. Hey, if they ever needed me, I would step in 100%. Yeah, but that was a long time ago. That was my senior year of high school. It was a windy day. I'm not going to take all the credit. The wind helped me, but we did we did have a lot of wind. So that one game I punted, it was 67 yards, school record, but then again, I just did it because I was the only one that can get it, pretty far down the field to flip the field. So, um, but if Ben ever needed a sub or if he went down, I'd totally step in for his place. But you know what? He's doing a hell of a job.
No, he definitely is, and we're happy to have Ben as a punter. He has been super effective for us, but it's just interesting to know that among the other things, you can bring the leg if you need to. So
I'm probably
that's
going to stay
pretty
retired
remarkable.
from that though.
What's that?
I think I'm going to stay retired from that. I think he's got like last resort pick me.
So, aside from your kind of Swiss Army knife element of your game and your various talents as a player, looking to this year and knowing that you've established yourself as a recognized receiver in the Midwest Conference, what parts of your game are you looking to improve upon this year?
So, Coach and I actually talked about that today. What I really wanted to improve was my ability to read the defense. It's one thing of knowing your job, right?
Mhm.
With the play calls and route depth and what angle you have to take and all that stuff. But I definitely want to get better at reading the defense, seeing what coverages they're in, seeing what they're trying to do to game plan against me, seeing like how they adjust in certain formations and
Mhm.
based off like what route you're running, what kind of coverage they're playing. So I really want to get better at recognizing the coverages. And I've been doing a lot of drawing up the board, going, old fashioned chalkboard, drawing up different coverages and based on our formation. So definitely looking forward to improve that aspect of my game.
Well, it's great to know that you still approach things as a student, but you are also, in addition to being a student, looking at improving your own game. We have a mix of older and younger receivers on this group. A lot of freshmen coming in this year, a lot of kids looking for opportunities. In addition to the student part of you, that puts you in a position, as you've indicated before, about being a mentor as well, as a leader on the team in terms of teaching the position to these new guys coming in. How do you approach that? What do you see as your role when it comes to being a leader and being one of the senior guys?
It's definitely a huge role, very important. And then at the same time, it's like, you know, I wouldn't say a lot of pressure, but you want to make sure that you're setting them up for success and going down the right path. Um, but the biggest thing I always tell them is to truly be yourself and to be an open book, be coachable, because that's the biggest thing. And that's all I've heard my whole life from my coaches from Pee Wee all the way through high school and even into college is to be coachable and to be the best athlete you can possibly be. As if you're being coachable, you can play any position, you can do anything you dream of. You know, as long as you listen and you take criticism the right way, even though when it's not really meant to be criticism, it's just the being coached. Um, I always tell them to be as coachable as possible and just to play like every snap's your last play because you only get one chance to do it. Our coaches reiterate it to us all the time that, like you're part of that really small percent of people that get to have the opportunity to play college sports, especially college football. And you should never take any moment for granted. And you should just have fun while you're here because, I mean, here I am a senior when it felt like, a year ago I was a freshman. Um, but it flies by so fast. And I tell them just to enjoy every single moment of it. Live and learn from your mistakes. It's okay to make mistakes. You know, yes, I have accomplishments, but you know how many mistakes I've made while getting those accomplishments. So, it's never get down on yourself. And I just hope I can teach them and show them that it's okay to make mistakes and it's going to actually lead you in the right direction to be successful.
It also seems like a lot of this has to do with adapting. I mean, that certainly seems to be the background for you,
Yeah.
Alex. There's a lot of adapting over the years to the circumstances you confronted wherever you were, right? And
Mhm.
change in offensive schemes,
Yeah.
changes to the scope of the amount of players you have, the depth that you have as a team, things like that. I imagine that's got to be part of the advice as well, is basically kind of adapting to the roles and circumstances presented.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
So speaking of kind of adapting, one of the things that evidently was not that much of an adaptation for you when you came to Appleton was this place that felt in some ways a bit like where you had come from
Mhm.
upstate New York. So you've spoken to that a little bit, and I think that is one of the things that makes Lawrence an appeal is not just the school itself, but its surroundings. And asking about that for you, and maybe for your receiver corps as well. What are the places that you like to hang out off campus, or do the receiver group do they go and hang out together? Where are your places to go in Appleton?
Well, I can tell you one thing. We love to golf. So we're always golfing any chance we get, that a nice good 4 hour chunk of time. We'll go out and play some golf. Um, they got X Golf down the street. It's an indoor place. So in the wintertime, we'll go there. We'll do some indoor. Um, I don't know. It's the green screen where you get the that stuff. We love
Sure.
that. When it's nice out, we'll go out to Reed Golf Course. We'll do that. Um, yeah, we go out to eat all the time. I don't go out and I'm 22, so but I don't go out to the bars or nothing. I like to stay here and on campus and just hang out
Sure.
with everyone,
So
get to
but
know.
you're going off campus for a bite to eat, or some of the guys are
Right.
going. Where are the places you guys like to go? Where are your hangouts? I've heard of Topper's, Slim Chickens.
Slim chicken.
That's some of the defender guys like to go there a lot.
Yep.
For your places.
Well, actually, I had Slim chickens yesterday, so it was fantastic. Slim chickens for sure. The Black Bear Diner, if you've ever had it,
Yes,
it's
yeah, for
absolutely
breakfast. That's a
fantastic.
breakfast place, I think, for a lot of the
Yep.
guys, right?
Yep. So what we did last year, we would during the season when school starts, we'll have film meetings in the mornings typically in between classes. So I remember like every Tuesday, we would go right after film, we'd go to Black Bear and get brunch. The offensive skill guys, the tight ends, we all went, got a
Hmm.
big table. Pretty much every single Tuesday we went. That's a huge spot. Um, Dairy Queen, when you wanted some ice cream.
Sure, sure.
Yep.
So
That's
speaking of golf, though, I mean, I've had a few interviews already. One of them was Aiden Williams. I take it you must play some with him because that
yep.
was
And
one
I
that he
go.
mentioned as well.
Yep.
It's good to know that you're on the same wavelength as your quarterback, even on the links, right?
Yeah, I mean, we talk about football when we're golfing too. It's never really like an off day. You're always talking about something about football. You got to
You're
enjoy
still
it.
talking shop, always business, right?
That's right. Always business.
Um, Now we'll get back onto campus for a moment. Wanted to ask you about your experience. I know you've had one, this is last year was your first year. You commented earlier about feeling like a freshman in some respects last year because of the new academic surroundings. In that time, have there been any classes or professors you've had that have resonated with you?
Oh, absolutely. So I'm a business and entrepreneurship major. So I heavily in the business department. Um, I'm going to say Professor Scran. She's fantastic. I had her for a lot of my entrepreneurship classes. Um, she actually does a lot of study abroad opportunities.
Hmm.
Uh, that's not really my, you know, like forte, but the things she's done is amazing. The stories and the pictures and what she does for other communities is fantastic. So I love what she teaches. I love what she promotes. She's one of the sweetest ladies I've ever met. She's a fantastic teacher. I totally recommend her. I just recently had a new professor, Professor Clayville. I just took a business of you class, so it was all about promoting you and yourself and like your brand.
Hmm.
And it's pretty much what you do for sports and athletics. You just got to have your self-image and promote you. So I learned a lot of ways to do that more. Um, so those two professors really stood out. I did take a lot of like university courses too, so
Sure.
just to fill up the schedule a little bit. But like major wise, like those two professors I had majority of the time and they were fantastic.
Well, some good advice there. I hope anybody listening from the team, some professors to take for sure.
Absolutely.
Looking ahead, Alex, we don't want to go too far ahead yet because we think there's a lot more to be accomplished coming ahead with the football season coming up. But taking a moment to look beyond that for a moment, what are your aspirations? What do you think is next for you, Alex?
Well, I think about it every single day. And honestly, school is a big part in this too, because a lot of once you get into upperclassmen classes, it's about life after Lawrence. What do you want to do? Um, a lot of projects on that. So it got me thinking a lot last semester. But my plan ever since I started playing football, I've always wanted to play professionally at some level.
Mhm.
Obviously, NFL is the dream. Um, but that's always been my plan. That's what I tell everybody. So it's always been athletics. It's always been football. It's just where my heart is. It's where I'm truly myself and where I'm passionate. Um, so the plan I've been kind of coming up with, um, so once the season's over, I definitely want to get into some arena football tryouts, try to play in the Arena League, the IFL. Those tryouts are held over the winter in January and February. So I want to try to do that, see if I can make a team. Um, And then over the summer in June and July, they have the UFL tryouts. So I'm going to see if I can sign up and do a couple of those as well. Test my luck, test my skills, see if I'm ready for it. If not, I do have a fifth year option of eligibility left. So I do have one more season
Huh.
under my belt. So
Definitely
if I
something
don't,
to consider.
that is something to consider. So I do graduate. I graduate in the spring in June.
Mhm.
So, it feels like a long time, but it really hasn't been. But that's my kind of my plan so far is just to go to tryouts and just see if I can perform well enough to make a team. And if I do, then I'll pursue it. But if not, I'll heavily consider my fifth year option.
And I know your business and entrepreneurship. At some point, when the football playing days are over, any particular professional aspirations beyond that? I don't want to get too far ahead because I'm hoping that your football career still has some years left on it, one way
Yeah,
or the other.
right.
When that does wrap up, what are your aspirations? What would you like to see yourself doing after that, Alex?
Um, I don't want to keep like, just repeating myself, but like, just like football, sports, athletics, like,
Really? So you would like to see yourself staying within that somehow, maybe in
yeah,
like promotion or leadership management, something like that, you think maybe? Or coaching?
yeah.
Which side of that were you looking at maybe doing, the business side or the coaching side?
Um, I'm gonna probably way more on the coaching side,
Okay.
um, being a part of like the staff. So, I love traveling. I love I love note taking. I love all that stuff. So I really like scouting and being an agent. I think would be really cool. Like I
Okay.
get to travel, do that. If a team would need that position, I would definitely get into coaching. And a big thing too was where I'm from. It's a great town. A lot of friends and family there. But what I've noticed over the years is there's no really like there's camps to go to for like skill development, but
Hmm.
fun for like position specific stuff. It's like more like a just a camp to go to, like a football camp. Um, but I would love to bring like a skill position group like camp to like my hometown. I feel like that'd be really cool. I can teach like the younger guys. I've worked with my high school before on like summer breaks when I'm home. I'll volunteer at their little football camps and I'll teach them drills and be a mentor. So I kind of want to bring something back home at some point and give like the younger kids that are willing to go, who have the dreams of playing college football, professional football, help build their skill levels while they're young so they can stay true and passionate to the game.
Well, Alex, I don't doubt that you'll actually deliver on that. I think sooner or later, we just have to stay tuned from your hometown. I think those things will likely happen.
Yeah.
Um, let's move back to the next couple of months. Let's look at this upcoming season. Is there a particular game this season or matchup that you are especially looking forward to?
Well, I mean, I'm looking forward to all of them. I know there's we talked about it as a team all the time, especially in our exit interviews with coach. But I know like team wise, and we all agreed that we left so much out on the field, um, where we should have had a different outcome in most
Hmm.
games. And we're just looking forward to just getting, the revenge tour on like the whole conference.
Right,
Because we are so talented on so many levels.
right.
And when you look at our record for the scoreboard, it doesn't seem like that. But once you're once you're in with the team and you get to know us, that we are, you know, we can compete with anybody. And I really want that message to be spread that you put any team in front of us, we're gonna, like Coach always says, we're gonna be a tough out.
So the notion here is basically to try to put the Midwest Conference on notice this year. Basically,
Absolutely.
kind of, okay, that's fine. We'll be underestimated for the time being, but that won't last very long. That's sort of the expectation, it sounds like.
Right.
Okay, okay. Um, you don't strike me, Alex, as the kind of guy that probably has any of these, but maybe you'll surprise me. Do you have any particular game day habits or rituals or superstitions?
Um, I'm gonna say not really.
No,
But
no surprise.
what I could touch on, I guess you can kind of consider it. So I don't wear the same gloves every game. So I get a new pair of gloves each week.
Really?
I do. So
Now, that's a bit of a, is that a superstition or is that strictly by necessity? Tell me where that fits in that range of I don't really need them, but I do, or no, I really need them. Where does that go?
I don't, I'm gonna say superstition, but
Okay.
it's just a thing with me where I like, tight gloves where, I don't like them like loose or anything. I like them
Okay.
tight to my hand. So I buy the new pair each week because like once you sweat and play a game in them, they're stretched out, they're kind of ripping a little bit already.
But so it's even if you had a fantastic game, gloves are still in pretty good shape. You're not going to go, okay, these are lucky gloves. Nope, they're done. They're retired.
No, yeah.
Autograph them, send them on, whatever.
Yep, I just put them in storage. Like the gloves I use for a game, I'll use for practice that week up until the next game, and that's when I'll buy the new pair. So
Okay.
I'll practice in the gloves I just played in.
In particular style, do they have to, I imagine you'd prefer to have either white or blue and white, but is there a preference when it comes to that? I'm assuming there's a glove that you'll go with week to week.
Um, Sometimes it's tough because I buy them all throughout the course of the season, so I
Uh-huh.
got to make sure they're restocked. But all of last year I used the Next Trend gloves. But I realized I'm like, well, wait a minute. I also like Nike, so I got the Nike Vapor Jets, so I got those.
I
Um,
thought those were
they
shoes.
have those. They're both. They have the gloves
I
and the
see.
cleat.
Okay.
The Nike Vapor gloves I love, but I get the white pair. It's either white and black or all white. Um, Coach Aker bought some for us actually, so we got the navy blue pair to match our home jersey colors. I've
Good.
been doing those all fall camp and they're fantastic, so I usually stick with those.
But that's the closest thing you have to ritual. But that is, I think, in a way, at least it's a ritual. I mean, the sense that you want to have gloves that
Yeah.
fit you properly, and as a consequence, you're not necessarily going back to the same gloves a week out because
Mm.
you've broken them in a way that doesn't make them as snug fitting anymore, I guess.
Right. Right.
Anything else as far as things you've learned in the course of the way, as far as, conditioning, hydration, things to do, things not to do as a player?
Oh, oh boy.
I think you know where I'm going.
Yes. Oh boy. Um, yeah, so don't overhydrate. I have done that. Who would have thought that's possible, but I have done it. It is possible and it's very real. Um, so what I've learned and what I do now is I drink a lot less water. I just drink your recommended amount, maybe a little bit more if I sweat a lot.
Hmm.
Uh, but on game days, you'll see me. I'll actually have one right here. So I get the Powerade Zeros with the 50% electrolytes. Um,
Okay.
so I get two of those and a bottle of Pedialyte for each game. So I have a lot of electrolytes and sodium going in throughout the course of the game.
So you're regulating your intake more than you were before, apparently.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and overhydration can have its side effects, evidently,
Yes, you can.
significant side effects.
Yeah. Learn the hard way.
I knew
But
you knew where I was going with that.
yeah,
Alex, I got one other question for you. Anything that you suspect that your teammates and coaches don't know about you? Is there something about yourself that maybe they don't know?
I don't want to seem like I'm hiding anything, but not really. Um,
Really?
I'm an
Okay.
open book. I tell everyone everything. Um,
Coach
you
Hoy
know,
told me as a kid he took dancing for 3 years. He between the ages of 3 and 6, he had to take dancing. He was pretty good at it. He won some awards. So nothing like that.
no. You know, shout out to my mom though. She always did want to sign me up for ballet to learn footwork, but I have never done it. I really couldn't get into it, but at least she tried. She brought it up as an idea. Um, but no, I'm just a hardworking kid. Even though I'm a huge extrovert, but at the same time, I'm also introvert, and I like to stay true and keep to myself.
Hmm.
Uh, but I'm just here. I'm here as a friend, a teammate, a resource. Um, I truly, I truly love and get along with everyone. So, nothing crazy, really. I mean, I'm just a football kid. I'm just so passionate about it. So just know that I'm going to do whatever it takes.
Well, we appreciate your time. This has been Alex Lippert, number 14, wide receiver, coming back for another season, looking to do some additional big things for Lawrence Vikings football this upcoming season. Again, Alex, thanks for joining us. This has been a pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
If you would like to know more about the LU Vikings Gridiron Club, if you would like to be alerted to new Gridiron Club content, if you would like to contribute toward the success of LU Vikings football, use this QR code to take you to our webpage, or simply look up Lawrence University Vikings Gridiron Club on your preferred internet browser. Register to become a Gridiron Club member. Join us to ready the ship